Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts. In today's little episode, we are going to be talking about our recent investigation of the Gill House in Gallion, Ohio. Now, of course, as we've been doing, there will also be an actual investigation video that'll be coming out probably about a week or so. That's what I was able to do last time. And this one for Fairfield, and this one I don't think is going to be as long as Fairfield, because Fairfield is over an hour long just because the place was gigantic and it was hard to, it was really hard for me to condense down any more than I had. This place is definitely smaller. Well, still a big house slash, I don't think it's considered a mansion. It's just a real big house, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's that to the point of being a mansion.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're just going to be kind of talking about our investigation there, kind of what we thought about the place. So that way, if you're someone that listens to the podcast and doesn't really watch the video as much, or just enjoys that, you kind of get a little taste of that as well, and a little bit of I guess just backstory on the place and what to look forward to in the episode.
Yeah.
Now again, we are filming this / recording this the day after.
Yes.
We just did the investigation. So we haven't looked over anything yet. We haven't listened to any of our, recordings. We haven't looked back through the footage, so we don't know what we caught except for, what we saw or heard during the investigation.
And hopefully we caught that, because who knows?
Well, yeah, that's the bad thing. Well, we'll get into that more in a minute. But before we begin, of course, if you're just listening to this, make sure you are subscribing on your podcast of choice so you don't miss any.
Yes.
And also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or any kind of podcast platform that lets you leave a review, do that for us. Check out our merch store. Link is in the description of both the video and the podcast form. And, all the normal stuff. We have a Patreon. Check that out. We mentioned a lot. It would be cool to get more people on there because we would like to be able to do exclusive content. I would like to be able to upload the video / podcast a day early for patrons or something like that. But right now we only have 3, which we appreciate the 3 we have a lot.
Yes.
But it just kind of awesome. Yes, it just doesn't make sense at this point to basically be busting out extra content and doing that, because when I do post things on there, a couple times I don't really get interaction because I don't think Patreon does a great job of notifying people. And if you're not a patron, or if you are one of the 3 patrons we have currently as of the filming of this, if there's something that would entice you to become a patron, let us know what that would be. What kind of perk could we do that would entice you to do that? Because again, we are a smaller channel and that kind of thing helps. Or a smaller podcast. We are all over the place. Yeah. We also do TikTok videos. I like to do shorts. There'll probably be some of that for that as well. So if you aren't following us on Instagram and TikTok, do that if you want to see little short clips and stuff like that, little bite-sized things of our episodes and stuff like that we do. But we'll get into talking about the Gill House now. I thought the place was very cute. It's a cute house. It's very interestingly designed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was back in the day, it was kind of considered a big house, but it wasn't considered a mansion.
Right.
The way they built it, the person who designed it, they kind of did curved walls and a bunch of really odd things to it. And a lot of fireplaces. A lot of fireplaces. But, it was back in the 1800s. So, that was really how you had to heat your house mostly.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, it makes sense. There's so many fireplaces, yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the weird things was, though, is that this house built by the Gills, they didn't have any children anymore by the time they built this house. They were in their 50s, I think, when they built it, right?
They were older. They only had one kid that was still living with them when they built this house.
Yeah, but I don't think any even moved in. Well, that or he was an adult kid, because they had told us that throughout history, kids had never lived in the house. There was never a point in time where actual children lived in the home.
Yeah, he was old. He was a little bit older. He was I want to say preteen or something.
Because our tour guide kind of joked that that's why it was still in good condition. Not really joked because kids destroy everything, but that's why the place is still in good condition. But it's weird that they would build something like this just for themselves, basically.
Yeah, because it's a really big, considering at the time, it was a really big house because it had a lot of rooms, a lot of bedrooms. Like master bedroom had its own full-size bathroom
Yeah.
and a huge like walk-in closet, and it was just it was ridiculously big. It
It
was
really
for
was.
two people. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Well, they did have like a lot of family, and the mom ended up moving in with them, and they wanted to like split the mom off basically, so she wouldn't interrupt them when she came home. So then they built like
Yeah,
this weird false wall thing,
yeah,
which makes the architecture of the place weird because you'll see in the video where like the banister from this really cool staircase actually goes up and goes through the wall into the other side because they split that part basically so she wouldn't bother them
yeah,
when she came home. And she like lived like in the upstairs portion for the
yeah,
like a certain part of the upstairs.
yeah. And she had like, again, those rooms were huge. She had like this giant living room, and like she had a big bedroom. She had like a weird um did she had the room that had the half bath, which we describe in the video. It's this really weird, like, the toilet's over here, the sink's way over here. It's really strange. Apparently it was really hip in Europe, but it never took off, so they just were like, yeah, we're just gonna leave it. And it's like, yeah, you open a closet and there's a sink. Why not?
Yeah, that was something else, and you'll see that in the video when you watch it. But it is one of the strangest things. Is there's those 2.5 baths the place has, and yeah, there's literally one of the bedrooms. There's the bedroom, and then there's a little sink you see when you first enter. That's basically in a closet. And then if you go through another closet, like you go through the closet and open the door in the back, that's where the toilet is.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yes, you have to then walk. You have to walk out of the closet across the bedroom to get to the sink, which is one of the strangest things I've seen. And of course, since it's an older house, all the sinks, so we kept like finding it so amusing because the sinks are like at waist level, so you had to like bend over to wash your hands because people were just shorter back then.
I guess so. I felt tall in this house.
Kim doesn't get to feel tall very often.
I don't get to feel tall. I'm 5'2". I mean, I'm not very tall.
That was like, I think that's like was the average height. Was that the average height?
I think they said that Gill was actually 5 foot, I believe. He was shorter than me.
Yeah.
And that's why everything was so much shorter. And it just was really weird. Like, yeah, the sink is just, like, I could hop up there, like, and sit on it. Like, that's how short it was. It wasn't, like, something you could...
And the place is pretty rich in history, which we go into it, not super in depth. We go into it more in depth, of course, in the actual video.
Yeah.
Because we like to do the walk around before we do the investigation.
Yeah.
And it was weird when we were doing the investigation. There's a couple different things that happened, ?
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to tell, again, because I don't have any of this documented because like we were doing the tour with the guide. I wasn't filming him. But, like, Kim had heard a whistle when we went up into the attic. Mm-hmm. When me and her were... Oh, what were we doing? I forget why we were up there, but we heard, like, it sounded like a toy.
Yeah, we were doing our walkthrough. We were filming our walkthrough.
Oh,
we were doing the history.
Yeah, no, that's not... No, we were just doing B-roll. That's why I wasn't recording. Yeah, so I didn't have a mic on. We were just, like... Because we like to do, like, little opening shots, so I was just filming a couple things. So the camera wasn't rolling at the time, but we walked into the one place to get to do like one of the opening B-roll shots, and we did it. It sounded like,
yeah. It to me, the best way I could describe it, it sounded like a kid's toy.
Yes.
That had like a fake laugh in it, like, you know, like you get like those baby dolls, and you pull the string, and it has like a. It kind of sounded like that a little bit, but like I don't know. It was weird. It wasn't like Tickle Me Elmo creepy like that, but it was creepy enough that it was a creepy laugh, and I just was like, I thought we had a person that was there the whole night to kind of like watch the house or whatever, and I thought maybe she was playing a game on her phone or something like that. So I even asked her that. I said, "Hey, were you watching a video or playing a game?" And she said no, she wasn't. So we have no idea where this came from.
And it didn't sound like, because there was other times throughout the night where we could hear her a little bit. Mm-hmm. And something like on her phone would have been that prominent from where we are, because we were on a different floor. And then the other thing that happened, Kim was going to the restroom, and there was like these little tile pieces that like flung to the middle of the floor. Now it could have just caught Kim's clothing. Maybe we don't know exactly where it was.
Yeah.
But it was strange. We couldn't recreate it, but we also don't know where this piece came from exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully we have video of maybe where it is beforehand.
I don't think I never really filmed over there, so I don't know. I'll have to look back, but yeah. But then, like, actually, when we started the investigation, it did seem like things kind of slowed down.
Yeah. It was really... I used this description before. Years ago when we went to Prospect Place, and I jokingly said it feels like the ghosts went to bed. Like it was 11 o'clock and they're like, yeah, we're tired, we're gonna go to bed, because it was like things just stopped, and it just kind of seemed like they just didn't wanna, like they were just like, yeah, we're done, we did our little things, too bad you didn't catch it, we're going to bed, we're done.
Because, I mean, yeah, it was weird that, like, and again, I don't know if anything that actually the previous things were paranormal. It was just weird little things that kept happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing even really happened like that afterwards. This place, again, isn't super big, and we spent quite a few hours just in different rooms, trying different things.
Yeah.
Not really anything convincing that we know of, so that's why I'm really hoping that, because it does seem like in different buildings you get... Activity seems to be kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word here, but what is the right word I'm looking for? Like, the activity that seems to go in the building seems to be consistent. Like, if it's going to be like, oh, this is a place where we get EVPs, or this is a place where they interact with the ghost box, or this is a place where they touch the K2 meters and you get those kind of hits. So hopefully this is a place where you get more like EVPs and stuff.
Yeah.
And we just weren't able to hear those at the time. Yeah, so...
So I haven't gone through my recordings yet. Again, we are taping this right after we went. So hopefully we will be able to have some things inserted into the video that maybe I get to hear. I'm really hoping there's supposed to be one of the spirits that's up in the attic is supposed to be really mean, and he's supposed to swear at you a lot. Right. So I'm actually like really excited. I hope somebody swears at us.
Yeah,
I'm hoping so.
The other really interesting thing about the building is there's only, they say our tour guide said he has no idea why the place is even haunted, which is kind of strange because there's only one known death there.
Yes, and that was the mother-in-law that they made that mother-in-law suite with the weird banister and stuff. And I do remember years ago when we went there years and years ago. The only thing they could think of is that they loved the house so much they came back to it. I mean, that could be an explanation, but it just seems really weird. Like, why? Like,
yeah, and I mean, I guess that also, I mean, we talk about it a lot, but, like, no one really knows what a ghost is or how it works, if ghosts truly exist, if it's just a psychological thing. So, I mean...
Yeah.
It's kind of like an unwritten rule, and it's this thought of, if someone dies here, their spirit is just stuck in the place where they die. But there has been, things like for example, like a lot of people think that they are maybe haunted by an animal is a good example. Mm-hmm. And almost very, very rarely does the animal usually like die at home. Usually, you have to, put it to sleep or something like that. So it's like, but its spirit would reside, in your home.
Yeah.
The same kind of thing where it was almost like, same thing with people, if it's a grandparent, how often are they actually dying there, but you might see their present, or, if it's a parent, Yeah. So, I mean, it's very possible, just like that, like Kim was saying, and that their theory is that they might have died somewhere else and came back to the house. Yeah. Just because they did say that this place, and it's, how old was it? When was it built? 1800s. I forget the year. Yeah. Because, I mean, Henry frickin' Ford was at this place.
Yeah.
Because they said anyone who was anyone that was in Ohio from, like, 1850 or something like that to 1950 had basically came to the Gill House at some point, because the Gills were just such prominent people in the community, and they were just on the up and up, and they just knew all the people, and yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it is possible, like, if it's constant, it was known as, like, basically almost a party house, where, like...
Yeah, I mean, if you really loved a place, I mean, maybe you would be like, oh, if I were to come back, I'd love to come back to this place, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's what happened.
And maybe, yeah, just people in that, because you also have to think, like, there weren't as many, like, fun things to do as there is now, like, I mean, towards the end, there were things like movie theaters, but, like, there weren't, like, great, amazing, cool places to go to. So, like, the Gill House would be some place that a lot of people enjoyed if they went to frequent parties, if they were on the up and up, and,
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's why they were there. I also think that they definitely are benefited, the people that... Who owns the Gill House now?
Oh gosh, it's not the actual Gallion Historical Society. It's somebody else.
Like Preserving Gallion.
Or
something like that.
Preserving Gallion, and they're like kind of like a secondary historical society.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious if I can find out. Who owns them? Destination Mansfield. I was trying to see if I can find out who they are.
Preserving Gallion
History.
Yeah.
Okay, so Preserving Gallion. It is very much advantageous for them to kind of advertise the fact the place is haunted, because they want to restore the building, which is going to take, he said, an additional from where they're at now, about $350,000. And every cent that is spent going into the place is used to restore the building, which is a very good thing. It's a very good thing that they do that, and it makes me very happy. But it does make it so they are advantageous to advertise this place as haunted as well. So if there was a ghost story or two there, and obviously it's close to Mansfield. I mean, it's not even technically in Mansfield, but it's on the Destination Mansfield website. That's where I just found it. And of course, frickin' Mansfield State Reformatory, or Ohio State Reformatory, is there, and it's one of the most haunted places in America, if not the world. And so it's kind of a hot spot. There's also that fire station, I guess, that's haunted there. So there's a lot of like haunted, spooky places in the area. So you have a haunted looking spooky place, regardless of how haunted it is. You would kind of want to take any story and be like, hey, this place has had some activity. I'm not saying it doesn't. We had things happen. We've seen other things, but I'm just saying, like, that also kind of adds to it. If you have a creepy looking building and you go there and expect to find creepy things in the creepy looking building, So, and I also will say it was pretty reasonable, as it's pretty reasonable to do a private hunt there as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was $150.
Yeah, that's very cheap.
Yeah, and I mean, we got it for a Saturday night, which usually you can't get places for that cheap. Usually it's like at least $300 or more for a lot of these places. So that actually was a pretty reasonable, and it's a minimum of 2 people, and then I think it's up to 10 people.
Yes, especially if you have a group and like you're splitting the cost. That's dirt cheap, and it goes to a good cause. Yeah. I did really enjoy the place, and I'm just hoping we didn't get that much. We got more activity on the recordings and stuff like that, or I find stuff back when I'm looking through the footage and that. But I mean, obviously, just like with any haunted place, you can have the place that's one of the most haunted ever, and you might just have a dead night. Happens to us a lot. I mean, also because we don't over dramatize and we don't obviously fake anything as well. It definitely can lead to things being, I guess, perceived as more boring, just because of the fact that I tend not to put like loud stingers and like crazy creepy music every 2 seconds, and like we don't just scream hysterically if something does happen. And if like we hear a creak, it's not just instantly like, oh, that was a ghost, like we want to like kind of try and find out.
Yeah, we want to find out what made that noise.
Right, like we're not there to debunk claims of other people. That's not what we do.
No.
That's...
But if we hear something, we want to make sure that
Right.
You
We
know.
don't want to, well, we might say, be like, we don't know what that was. We'll go try and find out what it was.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when we were there, and I don't think any of this was on camera, we kept seeing this, what looked like a flash.
Oh, yeah.
And we were like, what is that? Where it turns out there's this one light, and it, like, almost never was turning on, but once in a great while, it just flashed for, like, a split second.
Yeah.
And it was kind of freaking us out because we would just only ever see it out of the corner of our eyes. Because it was coming from a different room, and it would just, you'd see a little bit of light on the carpet. We're like, what the heck is that?
It was just a real quick flash.
So we're, like, searching all over, and then we
kept thinking, oh, maybe it's somebody outside flashing a flashlight into the house, or maybe it's headlights.
From like a tall truck or something, and only when like tall trucks go by.
But like, the building is tall enough that like it wouldn't have been low cars. So yeah, it would have had to been like a semi or a bigger truck, like going past or something like that. And then we were just like, okay, we've seen cars go past, nothing's happened, and then it happened, and he went out there, and sure enough, it was this light in this hallway, and it was just like, okay, well, good, now I don't feel like I'm going crazy.
Right. And if you're going to these places, obviously I implore you to make sure that what you to see what it actually is, like to try your best to see if you can debunk whatever it is that you're hearing or seeing, you know.
Any place that you go to, just always make sure you do that, because sometimes there's like an easy logical explanation for something, and you know, they might, you know, the people who run that place might think it's a ghost, but it turns out, you know, oh hey, it's just, you know, you have faulty piping, or you know, you have something else. Like I just watched one of the ghost hunting shows, and they found out that every time these people were walking on the upstairs floor, or no, I'm sorry, it was every time they opened this one door, it made it sound like the pipes were knocking. Because of the way it was shaking the building, the pipes were right underneath this door. So every time they opened and closed it, it sounded like someone was like knocking on a pipe like that. And so they were actually able to disprove this phantom noises from the pipes.
How ironic is it that, like, Ghostbusters goes to people's homes and places and debunks things, but then fakes evidence?
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's weird.
Like we're going to debunk these claims, but then we're also going to fake evidence later in the episode for more views.
Yeah.
Which is just, you know,
sad, but
hilarious. But
whatever.
Yeah. Overall, though, I think we did have fun. You get the place from 6 to 4, at least you didn't. We went, you know, I mean, obviously things can change. Now, you will have someone with you. Mm-hmm. They don't leave you completely alone like they did at, like, Fairfield and just give us a number to call if something bad happens.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I kind of feel bad for the person, though. Like, I wouldn't want to sit there from, like, 6 to 4 just playing on my phone with she had headphones in.
Yeah.
But that's basically all she did, and I'm just like, man, I would be so bored. Like,
I know.
And, like, they do this fairly regularly, I assume.
Yeah, well, and she had just worked an 8-hour shift at her job and came in, and then she had to work in the morning, too. She actually, when we were leaving, because we actually left a little bit earlier because activity was just, there was not much going on. So we're just like, let's just call it.
And we were tired, and we were just like,
yeah. And she was like, thank God you guys are leaving early because, you know, I had to work and I'm exhausted and I have to work tomorrow morning and I really appreciate it. And I'm like, oh, well, you know.
I don't even know if you said that.
Yeah. I think we're outside or you were doing something. Maybe you were in the bathroom. I don't know. But yeah, she was like, oh, I'm so glad that you guys are leaving early. So it was like, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, just, you know, keep an eye out because we're going to get the episode up here in the next, because probably a week from when you see this. I usually like to give myself 2 weeks to film it. So by the time that this podcast stops, it'll be about a week. Not as much footage and stuff to go through for this one, like I said, as we had the last one. Now, we did do a couple other things I guess we can just kind of talk about while we were there. I wanted to film it. And I'm curious to know if you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, so maybe I can film future events. But what was it called exactly?
It was called the Oddities and Curiosity Expo.
Yes.
And they have it all over the U.S. This one happened to be in Columbus, Ohio, but they have it in different cities like throughout the United States. Basically, it's if you like taxidermy,
There's so much text.
You're gonna love this expo because, like, you could pretty much get anything mounted.
They had giraffes.
They had a freaking giraffe.
But yeah, they have a lot of cool. It's not just that. They have a lot of cool, like, just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Not all of it's oddity. Some of it's just like weird, creepy-ish homemade crafts and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of like little bones and things like that.
You buy a lot of spirit boards.
Spirit
a lot
boards,
of that.
like creepy artwork. A lot of really cool artists. We did buy a few pieces of stuff. It was really neat. They were going to have people doing like shows and stuff. They did have a side show, an actual freak show. I'll use quotes, freak show.
We did not. It was an upcharge, and the line was so long we didn't do that.
Like a show that was like people hanging from like their skin and nipples and things like that.
Like that. And the main reason I didn't film is it was so insanely busy there.
My gosh.
Like, it was hard enough just to get through the crowd. Also, trying to film and do a vlog in there would have just been an absolute nightmare. Because we had to wait like 30 minutes just to get through traffic to get into the place. And after that, I'm like, I'm not going to bother filming. Like, we're already running a little behind because we had to, get to the Gill House at like 6. And we had to check in our hotel first. And now it's like 2 o'clock and we're in Columbus. And we're like, okay. So I'm just not going to film this. But if that is something you guys are interested in, is like conventions that are kind of unbrand. Like, I've done it before, like the Psychic Fair in Conneaut and some other stuff. If that's something you guys enjoy watching. Because I do plan on filming when we go to the haunted garage sale, which we did last year in July, because people obviously really like the haunted attraction side of the channel. It's just, again, we can't do that all the time, but it is halfway like to Halloweenish like time, which is cool. I didn't even realize that was going on.
Yeah, well, a lot of places, if you are looking for haunted houses to go to, they are doing halfway to Halloween and Friday the 13th events. I have been trying to post them on our Haunt Talk page. I've posted a few of them. I'll probably post a few. I'll try to post more this week. But I know a few places that we've gone to are having a few events. I believe Akron Schoolhouse and Factory of Terror are both having a Friday the 13th.
May has Friday the 13th?
Yes, May actually has the only Friday the 13th this year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sucks, because I don't think we'll be able to make it to any of those, because, again, me and Kim are leaving on Disney the following Sunday, so odds are that's not going to work, because, Yeah,
but if you're itching for a haunted house, there's quite a few that are doing stuff.
Yeah, and make sure you follow us on Facebook, especially, because we have a special Haunt Talk page for that, and Kim likes to post that kind of stuff in there. Yeah. And then today we went to, I'm not going to talk about it a lot because it's definitely not really on brand for the channel, but there's a really cool mansion that is super spooky looking. What was it called?
Kingswood Manor.
Yeah.
And they had a big garden.
With
it there.
Cool. There's peacocks, but a really cool manor that looks like the Haunted Mansion from Disneyland.
Yes.
And it was just super cool in there, and I don't think they do anything with ghosts or ghost hunting. I wish they did, because, like, there has to be history to that
I'm
place
going to look
haunted.
into it, because I'm kind of curious to see if they have anything. I mean, even if we can't get into the rooms, because they did have it, like, kind of, like, roped off, so you could only go in so far into the rooms and stuff. I mean, even for ghost hunting for that, I mean, as long as we're kind of in the room, we can still interact with spirits, you know? We've done that before. I actually investigated at, oh my gosh, Malabar Farm, and that was kind of like the case there, where like some of the rooms you can't actually get into all the way.
Right, because they had it blocked off because they want things to stay pristine, like the furniture.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you are in the area, because I assume if you're watching this video, you probably have searched something about the Gill House or maybe even Mansfield Affirmatory. If you're doing those things and you want something else to do, like in the day, that's a very beautiful place. It's cheap. It's only like $8, and you can just spend all day there. But yeah, it's just a cool side thing to do, because I assume if you're watching this video, you've probably searched for like the Gill House, you think about doing, or maybe you're doing Mansfield Affirmatory. They're very close together. But it's just a cool little side thing where you can see some awesome gardens and like the creepy mansion. Well, it's not really that creepy, but it's a cool old mansion. It's just really cool. So most people that are into ghost hunting are also into history, so still kind of has that tie-in. But yeah, if you are at the Gill House, Mansfield usually does day tours as well. So if you don't want to spend like thousands of dollars to do a private event through Mansfield, the Gill House is. And I mean, even Mansfield's public events are like $100 a person.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, yeah, they do allow a lot of people in their public events, but a lot of times those people leave by like midnight.
Well, that and the place is so big.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to find a spot where there's not a lot of people, and it's worth doing. It is expensive. It's $100, but it's pretty free roaming, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's super active. I mean, if you're looking to interact with spirits right then and there, your best bet is to go to Ohio State Reformatory.
So yeah, I mean, I'd say do a private at the Gill House, and then if you can find a weekend where they're doing a public, book that. Have yourself a little haunted trip, because I think this and Mansfield are like 15 to 20 minutes away from each other. They're real close.
Not far at all.
Just find a little. And if you're looking for a hotel that's decent, we stayed at Sleep Inn, I think it was.
Sleep Inn, yeah, in Gallion, and it's literally a brand new hotel.
Yeah, it's brand new. There's not a lot of great options in these areas. Like, we've stayed at a couple there, and they've been a little sketchy. But this one was reasonable, so if you are going there, I'd recommend staying there. We didn't really have many complaints except for the shower.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we kept getting really cold, but
shower of doom.
But besides that, it was clean. They had a good breakfast, so if you're looking for a place to stay when you are doing these ghost hunts, that is one I would recommend. But I think that does it for this episode. Again, make sure that you stay tuned for the episode. Make sure you stay tuned for the ghost hunt of the Gill House that's coming up. Let us know where you'd like us to ghost hunt next. We have a couple ideas. I don't think we have anything booked in mind, but we know we want to do Prospect Place. We've got to get to Waverly at some point this year, and then we'll see what else. I would like to probably do Madison again if possible, but there's so many different places to ghost hunt. But yeah, let us know if you have any suggestions, especially if it's like a place where we don't have to pay, like if it's something like Beaver Creek-esque, where it's someplace we can just walk to and investigate, but you would like to see us do that.
Or if you own a place and you want us to come out and do a vlog, let us know. We'll come out.
Right, absolutely. Long as you're not real far away.
Yeah.
But thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you click the notification bell.
Ooh, which one? Which one? I know.
The pumpkin, yeah. It's
pumpkin.
So you don't miss any future and upcoming videos. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.